Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to Energize Delaware Live. My name is Angie Bivens, and I'm an energy advisor with a few of Energize Delaware's residential programs. And on today, we have an amazing topic, as always. But before we get to the topic, first and foremost, let me say welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Whether you're watching live or whether you're watching after the taping, we thank you for tuning in and educating yourself on today. And I hope that you're going to learn something that you will share with somebody else. And if you did not know, this month is Energy Awareness Month. I know somebody said Halloween. That's true as well. But for me, the holiday is Energy Awareness Month. And in that, this month, we spend a lot of time trying to make sure that Delawareans are aware of their energy options, meaning the resources that are available, programs, services, all that great stuff. But October 30th is a very special day because October 30th in Energy Awareness Month is National Weatherization Day. Right, it's the day when all the professionals in the art of weatherization get to be honored, right? And we get to talk about programs that are available again and how you yourself can weatherize at home. So in honor of all of that, Energize Delaware and their great nonprofitness, if that's a word, would like to welcome another amazing local nonprofit to join us on today to talk to us about the Weatherization Assistance Program available in Delaware. So with that, I am so super honored to welcome to the stage the amazing, the wonderful Miss Kristen Pierce, all the way from ECA.
Woo!
Good afternoon, Kristen.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Angie. I'm super happy to be here and talking about one of the passions that I've been involved in for a long time is weatherization and the Weatherization Assistance Program and Weatherization Day coming up on October 30th. Super excited to talk about it. So thank you so much for having us and welcome everybody who are joining us online, either live or after this, as Angie just said. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for agreeing to be here. So, with that being said, I'm going to get out of the way so you can talk about what's most important and what our viewers have come for on today, which is that Weatherization Assistance Program. So, with that, Kristen, the floor is all yours.
Oh, goodness. Thank you so much. Alrighty. So, weatherization. First, I'm going to introduce myself real quick. I didn't do that just a moment ago, but my name is Kristen Pierce. I'm the program manager for the programs that we have here at ECA. We have a weatherization assistance program, which I'm going to get into in depth here today. We also have other programs involved that blend into the weatherization program. One of them is called our pre-weatherization assistance program that helps people who are deferred from weatherization come back there. And then also we have a furnace program in Newcastle County that we use in conjunction with our weatherization program. So we have a lot of options here at ECA, and I'm super happy to talk about one of my favorite programs that we have is the Weatherization Assistance Program. And we can click to the next slide. Thank you. Weatherization is a fabulous program that is helping low-income families for no cost throughout the entire state of Delaware, Newcastle, Kent, and Sussex. We help homeowners and renters in the whole state, as I said, which is, so as I said, homeowners and renters, not just homeowners in this program. We also help, as I said, renters. Just want to say that many times. We predominantly work in homes that are we call them single family units where there are standalone type of things. So not apartment buildings and things like that for renters, but we do work in standalone types of duplexes, small buildings and things like that. But we're here to, as I said, help low income families, particularly elderly folks, people with children, disabilities, anyone who is financially eligible for the program to make their homes more energy efficient and also more comfortable. By making it more energy efficient, we're going to be keeping that air that you're heating and cooling in the summer and winters, keeping that air that you're paying for to be a certain temperature, keeping that in the house as long as possible, as reasonably possible, so that you feel more comfortable, but you're also saving energy on those from your bills. But anyway, so next slide, if you don't mind. Thank you. So we do have, it is a low income population that we are working with, and we do have our eligibility guidelines on the side of our current guidelines. We do follow the federal poverty limit. It's up to 200% of the FPL. And so if you find that you're eligible or you know someone who is, feel free. I have our contact information at the end of the slide. So if you know anyone who's eligible, and I'll say this again many times, but if you know anyone who's eligible or may be eligible, feel free to reach out to us and we can get you started on an application. And I also have the process farther into there. So we'll get into all those nitty gritty fun details later on. But yeah, so what we do in the Weatherization Assistance Program is we tend to do things that are not necessarily doors and windows. Doors and windows is everyone's first step. It's like, oh, I need to save energy, so I need to replace my doors and windows. While it can help in certain situations, I don't want to say that replacing doors and windows will never help. That's not true. It will help in certain situations, but predominantly what we do, we find that we get a better return on our investments. We get better savings to what we're spending with when we do other things besides just doors and windows. We tend to do, if you want to move to the next slide, we tend to do attic insulation. We look at the walls. We make sure that the walls have proper insulation. We typically do a lot of air sealing and insulation work. Those are the two big categories of things, and that can break down into various different parts of your home. There's we have attic spaces and basements and all of the different rooms in the home that all make up our house. And so we need to make sure that those parts are adequately, insulated and air sealed. We don't want, little pinhole cracks where air can come in and out of the home. Because that's where your dollars are being just siphoned out of the house. And so what we do when we come into the home, we'll do, as I said, blower door guided air sealing, where we put up this adorable little a block or not a block. It's more of a shroud, I suppose, in the front door or one of your exterior doors, and it has a fan on it, and it will measure, it'll pull air from the house to the outside, and it'll measure how air leaky your house is. And we use that blower door to direct and guide our air sealing. We find a lot of those air holes and pinhole cracks and places where our houses are built, some of our homes are not new construction. They've been built a long time ago. And so, we need to find those places where in the past, those standards and guidelines for building homes are maybe not what they are nowadays. And so we use that blower door to direct and guide those air sealing measures. We could go to the next slide. And so we are funded in various different ways. Mostly our funding comes from the state of Delaware, who is funded by DOE. And so the Department of Education is the the federal agency that provides the predominant amount of funding for the Weatherization Assistance Program. And then, the state of Delaware receives that money from the federal government. And they have some other funding as well. We have utility dollars in the state of Delaware. We also have regional greenhouse gas emission dollars, RGGI funds, as we all call them, RGGI, and as well as the base weatherization grant. And also some LIHEAP dollars come to weatherization to the state of Delaware. And then DENREC, they're the Department of Natural Resources and Environmental Control. They are the ones that decide what to do with that weatherization money, what agency is going to be implementing that program for them. And thankfully, Energize, just kidding. Energy Coordinating Agency. I do that all the time. There's so many different people in this agency and industry. But anyway, so the Energy Coordinating Agency, we are the program implementer for the state of Delaware on behalf of them to implement the weatherization program based on their guidelines and standards. And we follow all their different rules. And through us, it goes to the population that we are working in, our renters and homeowners who live in the state of Delaware. We can go to the next slide. And this is the process for weatherization. Fabulous. So now that we know how, kind of what qualifications we need, let's say we know that we're financially eligible, you're going to either call us or you can go to our website, and I have the contact information at the very end, and we'll get to that, and I'll leave that up there for us. Or Angie will leave that up there for us. But but you're going to come to us. We're going to help you with the application process. And I have some details further in about what we actually need from the applicant. But once the application is done, you submit those papers and they get approved. Once the application is all completed, we're going to schedule the energy assessment or the energy audit. The energy auditor is going to come out to your house. It'll take a couple hours where they're going to look in all the nooks and crannies. They're going to look in the attic spaces, the basements, the crawl spaces, a lot of the places where we don't normally go as homeowners. I know that I don't normally go in my crawl space underneath of my house. That's dirty. It's gross. No thanks. But we need to go into those places to find all those energy deficiencies so that we can make that home more energy efficient. And so once that energy audit is done and they've sent in their paperwork and they've generated the work order, we're going to get into the process. And each house is very different. Even if they're in the same neighborhood and they look exactly the same, every home is different. Every home has had a different life, a different experience through its lifetime, whether it's been 5 years, 10 years, 45 years, depends on how old the home is. We'll take a case-by-case approach based on our, we have similar things we do in every house, but every home gets a unique work order based on the issues that we find in the house. And some of the programs we have, we are able to blend in with weatherization. As I said, we have the pre-weatherization assistance program. And so with that program, we're able to take folks who are deferred from weatherization. So when the energy audit happens, if there are some home repairs that are needed before we can do those weatherization measures, if the home's not weatherization ready, we can potentially, through our pre-weatherization program, repair those issues to make that home weatherization ready, which is a fabulous sister program that we have here at ECA, so that we can help with some minor home repairs to help make that home safe and viable for the insulation and air sealing. For instance, you don't want to insulate your attic if you have a roof leak. That's going to get kind of mildewy and moldy, and you don't want that in your house. You don't want to breathe in mold. We want to make the weatherization safe and effective for everyone that we work with. And so we do have other programs that can help with that, as well as a network of partners that we know of that we can potentially refer to other, as I said, home repair agencies to help with those issues if pre-weatherization cannot assist in all of the things that need to get the home to be weatherization ready. And in Newcastle County, we have a furnace program, so we're also able to blend in that with the weatherization program. Now, while weatherization does work on heaters, we can repair and replace heaters through the weatherization program. Having the furnace program in Newcastle County can help us with more energy efficient measures that may be a bit more expensive. So for instance, we may be more likely to potentially replace a oil furnace with a more energy efficient option of like a heat pump, because we can split the funds and we can blend all those things together. As heat pumps are the newest, coolest thing in the energy industry, but they tend to be a bit pricey as well. So we do the best we can to make the home as energy efficient as possible with the programs and funds that we have available. But after all of that happens, when you get all of those services taken care of and your home is insulated, air sealed, we've looked at the heater, we've done all those things, we do a final inspection of the home to make sure that what we've done, there's no missed opportunities, there's nothing that was supposed to be done that was not done, and also that the work that was done is up to our standards and guidelines, federally, locally, all those fun, fabulous rules that we all have to follow. We make sure that the home is safe and is good to go. And then once we're done with that inspection, we are finally out of your house for a long time. And, it's a one and done type of service. So once we're done with the final inspection, a house is not eligible for weatherization for another 15 years. So we really try to get in, do as much as we can before we get out of there. But once the final inspection happens, we're out of your hair for a while. And just the timeline of things, if you want to think about it, from when you apply to when you're finished could be, several months from the entirety of the project. But there are some waiting and once you complete the application, there's a little bit of a waiting line to get into have the energy audit. But once that energy audit's done, it should probably take about 2 months to complete the rest of the work. So the longest time is once you complete the application, being patient until you are, your lucky slot comes up in the waiting list, and you're then scheduled for an energy assessment. But overall, we don't have a humongous waiting list, unlike some programs, in the state and things like that. So, while there is a little bit of a waiting list, it's not anything like years or anything like that. So we definitely encourage anyone and everyone to apply. And if we want to go to the next slide, we can start talking about some of the I'll blow through some of these required documents that we need for applying for the program. So in order to apply for the program, you need to be a United States citizen and also a resident of Delaware. And so we're going to need some sort of proof in the application from the homeowner to prove that the household members are United States citizens. Usually that can be birth certificates or social security cards, and or green cards and things like that. The proof of Delaware residency is usually a driver's license or a non-driver ID from the state of Delaware. Also, alternatively, we could use things like, similar to when you go to the DMV and you give them, 3 pieces of mail to prove that you live at that address to get the license. We can do a similar thing. We can take a lease, we can take utility bills, cable bills. We would prefer driver's license because that's always the easiest, but we can, if you don't have a driver's license or non-driver ID card, or if it's you've just moved and you need to get it and you haven't gotten it, but you want to get this started, we can take care of you. We can help you as much as we can with still keeping to our requirements, with alternative ways to give us that information. And then the next slide will continue. We'll need proof of any income for the household residents over the age of 18. And if anyone who lives in the household is a student, we'll just need, proof of full-time student status from the school that they attend. And therefore, they don't need to prove that they make income outside of that. If they're a student, fine, beautiful. But anybody else over the age of 18, we need all the household income, and we have various different ways that one can submit that information, whether it be Social Security or veteran benefits, pensions, or pay stubs, or sometimes we can take tax returns, depending on when in the year it is. Right now, not so much, but maybe in the beginning of next year, we can start taking tax returns when we, get that all taken care of. But anything that is income generating in the home, we want some sort of paperwork for that, so we can generate what the eligibility is of that home based on how many people are in the house. And as we continue in the slides, the more of the required documents, besides the identity and income documents, we also like to have the energy usage information about how you, heat, cool, and light your house. Do you use electric for everything? Do you use electric and gas? Do you use electric, gas, and oil? Do you use electric propane? All the different options, we are here for it, and we want to know what you use, because we're going to take that information and do a pre and post assessment. We'll take what you're using in the beginning. We'll look at your current energy usage. We'll put that into our system, and that generates a little bit of the priority for the client, in the wait list. It shifts you around, but also it gives us an idea as to how much of an energy burden the household has before we get started. And then at the end, we do, we'll reach out usually to our bigger partners like Delmarva and things like that. We'll reach out to them, and we are able to see what the post usage is, and then we can figure out, we can see a little bit more about what our efforts and how that helped, and all those little nitty gritty data things that the folks in the federal government and those, like to see, and those in the upper ranks like to see. We all like data, or I do anyway. The other thing we need besides, we needed identity documents, income documents, energy usage documents, and the last piece is proof of ownership or the rental information. So we either need a deed, a mortgage statement, a tax bill that proves that you either own the home, or that you lease. We want your leasing agreement with your landlord. And we also have a landlord agreement form that the landlord agrees to certain things before that we get started on the weatherization. It's still a free program for them, for renters, but they need to have permission from the actual homeowner, which is the landlord usually. And so we have a form that the landlord needs to complete before we can receive the audit and complete that application. But that is the 4 different types of pieces of documents that we need: identity documents, income documents, energy usage, and then the proof of ownership. On the screen right now is a testimonial from a client who receives services from us. We're able to help in homes. This one was an elderly man who lived with his wife, 2 folks, living in a mobile home in northern Delaware. We were able to help replace an inefficient old furnace, and give them provide them with a bunch of different situations, services that helped bring that cost down. As you can see, we saved about 9,495 kilowatt hours, which is about $1,500 average on annual energy savings cost. Now, everything's going up in price nowadays, so that may be different. And every home is different. So while this is a fabulous case study, some can be, bigger reductions, some can be lower reductions. It all depends on what is needed for your house. But ultimately, the goal is that we're lowering your utility bills and improving your comfort in a safe and effective way. Here is a breakdown. As I said, we like data here in these federal and state programs, and so we try to quantify every little piece that we do. But we do assist a lot of folks in the state of Delaware, and so a lot of our clients are elderly and also children. You can see 39% of the folks that we help in the weatherization program are children. Now, they're not the ones owning the home, obviously, but they're living in homes where, with their families. And so we're directly benefiting folks, specifically the elderly and children populations, the most. However, we also help disabled and others in the state of Delaware as well. Again, if you're a homeowner or a renter in the state of Delaware, we're here for you. Come on down. Yes, fabulous. Here is the contact information for the weatherization program at ECA, the Energy Coordinating Agency. You can call us at 302-504-6111. That's our main office line. We have a bunch of different options of depending on where you live, that'll direct you to the right person. And then also we have an online application portal on our website, which is listed here on the screen. And you're welcome to go onto the website as well to apply online. But thank you so much. Thank you so much for letting me ramble on about weatherization. I don't know if, feel free to ask us any questions. If you have questions, even before you apply, feel free to give us a call. We're more than happy to continue, talking about weatherization and why you should join this program. But I'm going to turn it back to Angie, and thank you.
Thank you, Kristen. Look, I am glad you guys are into data, because it was really good to see that pie chart and to see how many disadvantaged populations you are helping. I know some of them may overlap. It may be an elderly household with children in it. It could be a disabled household that's also elderly, but still, to see how this program is helping those that need it the most, that is amazing. Just to know that this is available in the state. So I thank you so much for sharing this information. And of course, we are going to continue to share it, but we're not done just yet. Anybody still tuned in? Let's do a quick crossword puzzle. Woo, woo, woo. Let's get into the weatherization crossword. So we're going to talk about a few tips that you can do in your home, but I believe in educating in a fun way. So if you haven't seen our weatherization workshop that happens online, at the end of the workshop, at the beginning, we cover 4 different areas to weatherizing your home. So at the end, we do a fun little crossword to bring everything together. So you guys get a sneak peek into the crossword that we do. So just 4 little questions covering those 4 areas. Let's go through it. Maybe Kristen can help us with some of the answers. Dun, dun, dun. All right. First up, one down. What is the number one user of energy in the home? What do you think, Kristen?
Well, there are a couple different things, but I think the biggest one is probably your heating and cooling system. That is a humongous part of what we do, in our own homes. It's hot, it's cold. We want to be comfortable.
You got it. You got it. So that is tip number one. When you are weatherizing your own home, make sure you get your heating unit serviced, right? We should be having it checked out at least twice a year if you can. I tell people if your finances won't allow it, at least get it in once a year, get that cleaning done, and see if there are some programs that can help you have it done again. But a good time to have your HVAC service is right before it gets cold. So right now is a great time to have that checked out. And also just being mindful of your heating. Heating is the most expensive thing that we do to our homes for the majority of homes. So the less you can turn up that heat, that's the more you can save. All right, let's go to number two. Number two says this keeps the house warm. It can be found in your home's attic, floor, or walls. What you think, Kristen?
Oh, it's definitely insulation.
Yeah,
we just talked about that in the little earlier, and some of the things that weatherization does. We do insulation and air sealing in the homes in all those different areas, attics, basements, crawl spaces, all those different areas to help keep that very expensive heated air in our houses as long as possible and to keep us comfortable.
Absolutely correct. I couldn't have said it no better. She is so right. So if your home feels cold, no matter how much you turn up that heater, know that turning up that heater is just going to cost you more money. Instead, you need to find out how much insulation is in your home. If you can afford to find out yourself, Energize Delaware does have the home performance program, and there's some information on our website about that. But as we're talking about on today, if you need assistance, check out the Weatherization Assistance Program. This is what they do. So they can find out how much is in your home, and then they'll be able to replace it for you as well. So let's take a look at those options. Number 3 says, and everyone who tunes in should know this, what is the most energy efficient lighting? What do you think, Kristen?
Oh, it's definitely LEDs. They are the coolest, newest thing on the block. And I'm really happy that I remember when I first started in weatherization, too long ago. But, I remember when I first started, the LEDs were just starting to come out and they were very expensive. And it's so nice to see that there are so many, they've reduced in price. They're way more affordable nowadays. I also know that Energize Delaware, I think you have a portal on your website where you can shop and buy energy efficient products. It's amazing. There are so many things in Delaware. Delaware is so, I'm just going to get on a soapbox real quick before we go to number 4. But Delaware is so amazing in the fact that there are so many programs for various different SES groups, demographics, whether you're low income, moderate income, upper income, whatever. There are so many programs in Delaware to help one get to an energy efficient house, and to help with these things. I'm always excited to work in Delaware, and when we go to conferences, it's nice to be like, yes, we have all these different programs, the home performance program with Energize Delaware, the assisted home performance with Energize Delaware, the weatherization program. Those are 3 different groups of folks. And it's all about the same things that we're doing. It's just the amount of burden on the client depending on their, income status.
Absolutely correct again. And thank you for sharing that. See, guys, it's not just me that talks about this. I know you think that, it's just Angie fusses about it. No, Kristen too. But yes, LEDs are the most energy efficient way to light. And just as Kristen said, LEDs are actually ingrained in a lot of our energy efficiency programs. So whether it be weatherization, that also gives you some free bulbs in the beginning, installs them, right?
Yep.
Love it. All right. You could also enter the home performance program, which gives up to $200 worth. The home energy checkup and counseling program, which is income qualified and gives up to $100 worth. And if you see me out in an outreach event, ask me if I've got light bulbs. I probably do. So light bulbs and LED bulbs especially are all around. And Kristen even mentioned we've got the marketplace for those who just are like, I don't need a program. I just want to buy some. Well, we actually put discounts on our marketplace, and you can find that at Energize Delaware marketplace.com. So feel free to check that out. I think we've got some smart thermostats on there. Huge sale. But anyway, so another great way to weatherize your house, save some energy, is to make upgrades like your lighting or even Energy Star products. So please be mindful of that tip too. One more tip we've got to go. Let's wrap it up. Oh, dun, dun, dun. Here is a health and safety question, and we'll talk about how this ties in. But if you find this in your home, it's hazardous and it grows in damp places. It also can be other colors like black, green, brown. Ooh. What are we talking about, Kristen?
We're definitely talking about mold and or mildew. I mean, for the answer to the crossword is mold, but mildew can also be growing in damp places as well, and it's just as detrimental sometimes as mold is. And mildew kind of can be the precursor to mold, and so you definitely want to make sure that you're not allowing water to enter the homes. Make sure that you have, your gutters are clean, your downspouts are working, and you've got downspout extenders to keep that water away from the home. You don't want it to enter, and the farther it can get away from your house, the better it is. Delaware on average is a very low to the sea level. I think on average, Delaware is about 6 feet above sea level. So we're very close to the water all over the state. I'm sure many of us know that our basements can get kind of wet sometimes, depending on where you are in the state. So making sure you keep the water away from your house as much as physically possible will help you keep that water out of your basements and crawl spaces and keep that mold, in theory, from taking root.
Absolutely correct. And thank you. You actually taught me something too. Look, I'm going to go look into the downspouts. But very true. So whenever we talk about weatherizing your home, we definitely talk about air sealing and all those things that can tighten up the house, right? Well, if the house is very tight and it can't breathe and there is any moisture in your whole home, just as Kristen was saying, even in places, especially in places like your bathroom and your kitchen, right? That's why you have exhaust fans and things like that. If they're not working, if the house can't really breathe, or even, like I said a minute ago, if there's just water, well, Kristen said it, water going on in the home somewhere, all of these are ways that mold and mildew breed, and they breed quickly. And as we've said, they're very dangerous and hazardous to your breathing. So you want to get rid of those. So if you're going to be tightening up your home or doing any insulation around your home when you're weatherizing, look for any places that may be the beginning. And thank you for that tip, Christian, of either moisture, mold, or mildew. If you see it, you need to remediate it. There are some things you can do as a homeowner safely to get rid of it yourself. But if there's a lot of it, then I would highly recommend either reaching out to a service or seeing if there are any programs that can assist you with that. But you don't want to let it keep growing, because it will keep growing. No other way to say it. So I hope you've picked up something from the 4 tips. Thank you so much, Kristen, for participating and for giving those out. I'm going to go back to your screen really quick as we close this out. I just want to offer to our audience, Kristen has given you a lot of information on this afternoon. She's told you about how the program works. She's told you what the program can do to help you, what documents are required, how to sign up for the program. You've got all the information you need. Why not take advantage of this program here in the mighty state of Delaware? Do it. So as we close out, Kristen, were there any final thoughts you wanted to leave with our viewers?
No, I just wanted to say thank you so much for having me. I always love talking about weatherization. And if anyone has any questions, or if you forget what we've talked about in this, presentation, I know I gave a lot of information, just give us a call and we can definitely help you out and get that application started with you.
Awesome. Sounds perfect. Well, we will definitely be making sure that more viewers come your way. And even those that sign up for other programs like the Home Energy Checkup and Counseling Program, you will get information about the Weatherization Assistance Program as well. Our goal here is to couple as many programs as possible to help get your house be the best house it can be. I know that sounds cute, but hey, I mean it. Thank you again, Kristen, for joining us. Thank you to everyone at ECA for being amazing. And thank you to all of our viewers. Please tune in again next month, end of the month. We will have another topic. Happy Energy Awareness Month, everybody. And please celebrate on Weatherization Day. Have a good one, everyone. Bye.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.